on the left, we can plot greenhouse gas emissions across all sectors of the economy. So this is everything. This is cars, planes, this is industry, this is household energy use, and agriculture. And what you find is that diet change reduces those emissions by 28%. So about half of that is avoided methane and nitrous oxide and other emissions that the food sector creates annually. And the other half is this green area, the potential of land to store carbon. And just to set these results in context, these are the largest potentials that anyone has actually reported for diet change, what I've got up here now. And why is this? It's because we look at the entire food supply chain, and crucially because now, recently, we include some revised numbers for the potential of carbon storage on the land no longer required to produce foods. This is the biggest number you will see on the greenhouse gas emission reduction for diet change at a global level. You can also have a look at these for the UK and the United States. And for the USA, it's a reduction of about 5 tons of CO2 equivalents a year. But if you actually look, the scale is different. So Americans are emitting about 20 tons of CO2 per year. There's also this bigger reduction. It's a 5-ton reduction because Americans also eat 3 times more meat than the global average. So I'm picking on Americans here, if you're American. But it's typical. Is it kind of where we may be going in the future? That's why I chose America. So it's 24% reduction. For the UK, it's a 34% reduction, or a reduction of about 3 tons of carbon dioxide equivalents per year. So consider, for example, that a big way to reduce your emissions is to buy an electric car or stop driving. That would save a UK consumer about 2 tons of CO2 per year. Consider that this 3 tons per year is about the same as 11 return flights from London to Rome. So just to be clear, 1 flight to Australia basically blows the budgets blows the savings from diet change. So. But what is clear is that the climate benefits of changing your diet are far greater than cutting down on your flights or buying an electric car. And what's more, for a typical average consumer, diet change isn't just the single biggest way to reduce your greenhouse gas emissions, it's the single biggest way to reduce your land use, your impact on biodiversity, the nitrogen and phosphorus pollution caused by your food, the acid rain, the water use, and probably, although we didn't specifically measure it, the pesticide and antibiotic use that is being caused by the food system. Put simply, avoiding meat and dairy products is probably the single biggest way to reduce your impact on the planet. And by me making these comparisons, I do not mean to say that we shouldn't do other things. We must do everything that is required and that we need to do to deliver a sustainable future. But it's important also to know what matters most. And it's also, just with these numbers, it's also important to say that if instead of letting all this land just go back to nature, this farmland go back to nature, as we're assuming in these green boxes, if we instead use that land for something like biofuel production, so we chose how we use this land, it doesn't all have to go back to nature, these carbon storage numbers get a lot larger. And diet change basically frees up land that we need to deliver the ambitious negative emissions in the IPCC's recent 1.5 degrees report. So we can deploy technologies like bioenergy, carbon capture and storage.